Good morning. This is Nick from I'mWinningAtLife.com, and today I want to talk to you about failure. So, before we get started, I just want to say I hope that you've had a really good week. I hope that things are going really well in your life and that you're enjoying the content that I'm providing and that you're crushing it in your life and things are getting better. So, now let's talk a little bit about failure. Let's talk about what it does and the feelings it creates and what's good about it and what's bad about it. Now, I'm going to say failure is actually good. It's not a bad thing. And a lot of people believe that failure is a bad thing, right? It's bad that I failed at this. It's bad that I did this. You know, it's not good that this failure happened. But failure is an opportunity, right? It's always an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to learn and to evaluate what didn't go right and then fix it. Yeah, we always want to succeed. We want that success. We want to always do well, right? We want every endeavor that we go into to be successful. The reality of it is that it's not, and it's not gonna be, right? Think about when you were a little baby, right? And you didn't know how to walk and you failed repeatedly over and over and over, but you never stopped, and eventually you walked and then you started running and now you are, and it's normal for you. Or, you know, you didn't know how to speak. I mean, you weren't born knowing language, and you failed and you butchered it up and you totally screwed the language up, but eventually you learned it and now you know it and you speak and you're fine, right? And that's how anything is in life, right? You have to fail and go through that process to learn the good and the bad and to learn the right and the wrong and to be able to grow. So people fail all the time. Right? Failure is a normal process. The only people who don't fail are the people who don't do anything. And that doesn't work, right? If you're not going to try anything, if you're not going to try to get ahead, if you're not going to try to better your life or better yourself, then you're going to stay where you are and there probably won't be much failure, right? And people set goals because they're afraid of failure. So they set goals they already know how to obtain. They set goals that aren't lofty because they're afraid of failure, right? I don't want to fail, man. I don't. What happens if I don't reach my goal? You know? So subconsciously, you end up setting a goal that's super low that you already pretty well know how to obtain, and then you reach that goal, but you haven't gone anywhere. You know, you didn't learn anything. You didn't progress very far. You know, you're a foot farther forward than you were before. And what good does that do you? It really doesn't do you any good. So, failure in itself is a great thing. When you fail, I want you to take the time and recognize why you failed, right? What is it that made you fail? Whatever it is, you're working on a project, you're trying to make more money, you're trying to build something, you're trying to get ahead, you're trying to get those grades, and you failed, right? You failed. You didn't hit the target. You didn't make the mark. Why? You need to stop and ask yourself why. And you can approach it two ways, right? You can either sit there and cry about it. Man, I didn't make it. You know, I failed. This is a big flop. And you can give up and stay where you're at. Or you can choose to say, okay, what did I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And recognize that failure can actually be turned into a win. And if you can turn it into a win by learning something, then you're on a path and you're moving forward and you're doing better in life, whatever it is. So failure is important, right? And the greats have failed over and over and over, and they spent years failing, learning something, whatever it was that they were going after. You know, ask anybody who's had huge success, and I guarantee you they could just outnumber you with failures too. They can probably outrun you with failures as much as they can outrun you with the success, because those people, like everybody, they have failures. It just happens. It's gonna happen in life, but it's okay. They don't let failure slow them down. You cannot allow a failure to stop you or to push you off that path. You can't allow it. It's just not gonna work. If you wanna get somewhere in life and you wanna get ahead in whatever it is in your life, you have to accept that there will be failure, and you have to learn from it. You have to grow. You have to push past that failure until you find the success, and recognize that failure actually is success if you learn from it. It is success if you grow from it, right? The reason why you failed is because there's something you didn't know when you went after it. Whatever it is, there's something that you didn't know. You were trying to get those grades, you were trying to get the job, you were trying to get the promotion, and the reason why you didn't get it is because there's something you didn't know, right? You failed. Now, what is it that you need to learn from that? What is it that you need to grow and get better, so that way when it does come back around again, or you continue to push, that you will succeed next time around or 10 times from now? It's okay if you fail. It's totally okay, but you don't run away from it. You hit it head on, you learn from it, you grow, and you push through it, and eventually the wins will add up. You know what I mean? The wins will add up more than the failures, and you will be wherever you want to go. It's going to be tough. So I think about this, right? This is another podcast. I've been doing this for a little while, and I struggle with it here and there. Like I don't get the followers I want as quickly as I want. I don't make the money I want as quickly as I want. I don't get the people to my site as quickly as I want. And it's frustrating. And you put out a piece of content and you realize, man, it didn't get the engagement that it wanted, you know, or that you were expecting out of it, or didn't get the results that you want. And then you know, it's easy to sit there and think, man, I failed. What am I gonna do? You know, screw it. I don't want to do it anymore. But you need to accept that it's okay. It's okay that it's tough right now, and that there's failure, right? What is it that I need to do to learn from it? So what is it that I don't know, that I just am unaware of, that I need to learn, so that way I can push past those failures, right? And I know that if I don't accept failure, and that if I march along as quickly as I can, that I will eventually get the reward, and that things will move along, and it'll be better. And you need to recognize that too. You have to take failure and turn it into success. It will serve you very well in your life. It will serve you to continue to have the momentum to want to move forward. It'll serve you to do better things in your life. It'll serve you to keep more motivated. If you just accept that failure is gonna happen, and that you never really fail, you only learn, you only grow. That's it. Like there is no failure, provided you don't allow it to be failure. So take some time, think about the things that you failed in your life. Think about, you know, those times when you've just completely failed, and that's okay. And then recognize, if you had to do it over again today, would you fail again, right? If you fail again, then you probably didn't grow or learn anything from it. But I bet you a lot of the failures that you had 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it is, that you probably wouldn't fail at it again because you learned from it. When you really think about it, right? Think about, the biggest problems you had when you were back in grade school or high school or college, and think about those times and what was so difficult, and then the times you failed, right? Oh man, I got an F on this test, and then I got an F on the next test, and oh my God, I'm such a failure. And then you think about it, and you look at it a couple years later, and you go, man, I bet you I'd kill that test now. Like, I bet you I'd go right through it, because you learned something else and you grew from it, right? Even though you failed, you continued to push. And because you continued to push, you had success in the long run, right? And as you learn and grow, the things that you failed at previously, they're easier to tackle. So you're less likely to fail, right? Now, you will fail at things in your regular life, especially when you're running hard. If you really push outside of your comfort zone, you're gonna fail. I guarantee it. There's no way around it. Like, because if you're so far overextended out of your comfort zone, there's things that you don't know, and it'll take you time to learn them. But as you learn them, the failures will diminish and diminish. And your job is to keep pushing until that failure becomes a success. Until the things that you did, or that you're doing right now that you're struggling with, that in a year from now, you don't struggle with them anymore. You failed now, but if you keep learning and growing, a year from now, you won't struggle with it. You will have learned it. There'll be a new struggle, and there'll be something else you might be failing at, but that's the process. That's what it is. That's what we're here to do, to grow, to expand, to learn, and to do better. And the only way that happens is through continual movement and pushing and overextending, and then recognizing that there will be failure, and then turning that failure into success, right? So take some time and think about it. I hope this topic has been pretty good, and I hope that you take any failures you have in your life right now and turn them around and make them into a success. Make them what you want them to be. Have a phenomenal week. Have a great year, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.